Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's daily brief recap. Today is Friday, TGIF, sort of. 25th of September. Of course, we have tax deadline here in Canada next Wednesday. Better get all those taxes filed and paid. Politicians, of course, here in Canada just acting like total dickheads. Isn't it? I think it's everywhere in the world right now, for that matter. And of course, we have big celestial events that are all happening around here. I get the distinct impression that it's almost like we're going to panic dump into early November. We're going to put in some sort of pivot bottom. Usually, maybe it's the end of October. I don't know. Usually the market bottoms about a week or so ahead of the U.S. election as everybody sort of places their bets. And then we head into sort of a bit of a vacuum. I get the distinct impression that this election will actually go on for probably about 2 or 3 weeks. We might see martial law. We might see anarchy in the streets. Be prepared. I actually believe that the catalyst event is actually December 21st. And I kind of like that idea that whatever the sort of political fallout situation is, it might take a serious, it might take about 4 or 5 weeks to settle the situation and give us a sense of calm heading out of 2020 into 2021. I don't know whether it means anything's going to be resolved, but I definitely think we are heading basically into the eye of the storm here. Really, I guess it shouldn't surprise us that breadth doesn't look really that good right now. We'll say Sjord's been working away building out this. You've probably noticed that we've added a few new categories, so I'm going to continually update this. This should be the universe breadth, not just the S&P 500. But nonetheless, we tried to bottom there, remember about 2 or 3 weeks ago. That potential bottom seems to have evaporated. Obviously, with these massive macro pushing events, and the sickness all surrounding the society right now, I don't think it's in anybody's best interest to place big bets either one way or the other. And usually what ends up happening is the market, like what I see happening is the market needs stimulus, right? The central bankers have said, you will have to provide this economy with more stimulus. So you know it's coming. But the politicians, especially the right-wing leaning politicians down in the States, they don't want to give away anything for free kind of idea. And I guess that kind of makes sense. You have to respect them a little bit for that. And, we saw back in March, as soon as the legislation was passed, the risk takers came back into the market. I don't think you're going to really see that change until that legislation is actually passed. And until then, we're probably in kind of just ebb and flow, drifty lower. That's sort of my impression. So, looking at things like the US dollar index, we're right up at this ABCD objective. We might actually, this doji here, that might actually turn into a midpoint pivot. That often is what happens with dojis, which in a weird sort of way would actually be implying that we're going boobity boo and boobity shmoo. Much, much higher. Do I have a trade to do here? No. I did like Julian sort of talking recently about thinking inverted head and shoulders, thinking US dollar pivot. So congrats, Julian. It was a nice call. I didn't really have anything trade-wise set up here, but I do like this message of the market because I do believe that these currencies were finessed through the summer to try and help the Americans with the sort of world hegemony kind of situation. We were looking at the Canadian dollar here, for example. I mean, I couldn't be more bearish of something like this than I am. Not only do we have the commodity cycle, so, all the assets that actually go into the value of a country like Canada, commodities, gold, silver, oil, coal, wood, water, whatever, that cycle's over. They've topped out. That's yesterday's story. That's not today's story. It's not tomorrow's story. Definitely not tomorrow's story. And then on top of it, we have a politician that he doesn't understand economics. He's too young. He has been filled with this sort of images of grandeur because his father was a great political leader decades ago in this country. And his solution to political challenges is to simply dissolve the government because he has that ability here through this COVID pandemic sort of cover. And his only response when people say, fiscally, what are you doing here, sir? You have no clue about economics. You're going to blow this system up. And his only response is, well, what would you have me do? I mean, okay, fine. I understand a little bit of leniency, a little bit of fiscal, how do we say this? Flexibility. I mean, hell, they pushed the tax deadline back 6 months here. But, talk of things like universal basic income. I appreciate that the socialists and the sort of, tree huggers of this world would love for us to move towards that kind of model. But the long and short of it is it's not good economics. It's not sustainable. It's why communism doesn't work. It's why the Soviet Union ultimately ended up collapsing. Because those kind of models don't work. So, put it all together, I can't really actually justify being bullish of Canada here. Everything says, sell and get the fuck out. Wonderful. And I've shown you these pictures. I mean, it's so beautiful. What's the public doing? They have built skyscrapers here in Vancouver with nobody in them. Who are they going to sell these things to? And they keep building more. It's the most stunning Fakasia I've ever seen in my life. I don't get it. Anyway, and it's kind of interesting. I've repeatedly said to my audience that I live in Canada, but I don't own Canadian dollars. I don't want to touch this piece of shit. It's garbage as far as I'm concerned. Wonderful. Great commentary, Brian. Oh, by the way, I'm trying to quit smoking right now. So I'm having a bit of a nick fit today, and people on the site, wow, they sure had fun listening to Brian's rants. Woo! Don't do social media and try and quit smoking at the same time. Doesn't quite work. Anyway, you had a little bit of a side rant there about commodity currencies and the Canadian dollar and Canadian economics. I mean, it's just, it's a disaster. You want to have a fun project for yourself, go and look at what the US dollar itself did the last time Jupiter and Saturn crossed through a fear cycle apex, i.e. 1980. Believe it or not, that's exactly what I expect to happen here with this US dollar this go round as well. And it looks like it might just be starting. Interesting to see risk, even though, oops, hello, look at that. Oh, Big Brother must hate me. Kevin, are you still here? Did I lose the computer? Am I still connected? I might not be, let's see. Oh, OBS is still working. Kevin, are you here? I don't know whether Kevin's here or not. Oh, there he is. He says, I hear you. I hear you. Okay. All right. Well, I guess I'm still working. It's interesting when I start getting all ranty, and I mean, they're trying to now monetize the water supply. Fuck. Can we please have some ethics, some consciousness by these human beings? I mean, why are we so fucking evil with each other? I don't get it. Anyway. So back to our conversation. Risk interesting, catching a bit of a bid. Usually on options expiry day, though, things usually go out relatively quietly. And I guess I'm sort of seeing that to a certain degree. I mean, we had a doji day there yesterday and a bit of an up day here asset bid wise. But you can kind of see it. It's right across the board. Doji there on crude. Kind of a doji day. A little bit up, but very doji-ish in the bonds. And what a surprise. Bit of doji day there in gold here today as well. So I get the impression, and often this is what they say, is Thursday is usually the day, especially if it's a big, like a lot of people in crypto were barking about, oh my God, there's a million, gazillion, jazillion warrants and options. Well, not warrants, but options that are expiring this Friday today in crypto. But usually the rule is that them, whoever's, running the book, running the market, they move the market on Thursday. And then on Friday, actually, the market's very quiet. And, retail public is either long or short these options. They don't realize that they move the market on Thursday. They wake up on Friday and go, okay, I got to do something. And they go, holy shit, well, actually, there's nothing to do. And then, gee whiz, price just stops right here. In fact, actually, I think I was talking to somebody in the crypto space just yesterday about how big bets about whether Bitcoin would be above 11,000 today. And you can see how, maybe yesterday they pulled it back a little bit, and today it's just basically, and that's a 4-hour chart, isn't it? So, one day. Okay. Today's basically a non-event day. Inside bar. So, if anything, probably today's a good day to have one of these crazy nicotine-induced freakouts. Because there's not a hell of a lot going on trade-wise in the market. Thank heavens. I don't have to worry about making any serious decisions. I think what I have to do is go out and buy a pack of fucking smokes and mellow out a little bit. I don't know whether quitting smoking heading into a Jupiter-Saturn cross is really in any of our best interest. But we'll see. What the hell. The message, as I said, there's really not a hell of a lot new here, but, there is some encouraging signs in things like crypto. I like the idea that crypto is actually a kind of a leading indicator. And crypto started to come down in earnest, and the stock market started to play catch up to a certain degree. This DeFi space had to sort of unwind. It got a little too far too fast. And you can see we had some short ideas, and we talked recently about, moving stop to trailing levels and W starting to come in. So the conversation with the site people today was like, probably, milking the short trade anymore at this point is, kind of like, maybe you're asking a bit much. And sure enough, these things are rallying back. Such a great commentary. And the person who did ask me that question, you should really write this down. But somebody literally came in, in very typical fashion on these public videos when we were down here going, oh my God, Brian, it's the end of the world. I'm getting destroyed. What should I do? Ironically enough, when you get to that point, there's probably a lot of other people that are feeling exactly the same way you are. And sadly, of course, that's usually a sign of things like capitulation. And Murphy's Law, if you did panic and say, fuck it, I just got to get out of here, look at what happens following. It's ridiculously cliche, this silly game. Can't really comment. Unfortunately, I can't help people. Say Brian, I bought it up here, it's down here, what do I do? I have literally a 33% chance of helping you with whatever I say. So I actually tried to not say, oh, well, you should buy. Oh, well, you should sell. What I do say is, well, for future trades, let's try and take a different approach. Let's try and identify where we're going to enter. Let's identify where we're going to risk to. Let's identify where we're going to take profits ahead of the trade before you ever put it on. And then that way, when the trade's going, you just go boom, boom, boom. Either I'm still in, or I'm stopped out, or I just made a pile of money and I'm off to buy a Lambo. So as it stands right now, I think this is, I think we call this like a dead cat bounce. Back up into resistance. It's still a little bit early to get overtly bullish, but nonetheless, you can see the market's caught a bit of a bid. I suppose really slick lower time frame players might be able to find long setups through here, but on balance, considering this bigger, uglier picture, I'm kind of just sort of like, let's just let the dust settle, and as soon as we start seeing W start forming again, hey, well, then we can start getting bullish again. So am seeing that kind of price action right across the board on these DeFi names. Actually, this only one, this Energy Webs, doesn't look very good. But, like this YFI, this one's been super, super popular of late. And you can see the fight that's going on against this Kilo. Yeah, it starts doubling out. We're probably going to start to see a rally back up top. This dot. It's got a cute little fractal. This Ave? I don't know how to pronounce that. I think that's that lend, right? You can see the W there. I mean, it's as plain as day. Traders got to trade. I mean, no guarantees in this business, but, setups are setting up. Probably the big boys here. Litecoin just does not look happy whatsoever. At least Ethereum and Bitcoin are trying to hold these recent lows, so that's encouraging. Litecoin, hands off. And I think I see that, on a lot. Like, I'm really interested in this Dash. I'd really like to see a W now on the other side of this trend line, but it's just not there yet. Look at this silly DREP. Buy signal down here. It's just been chugging its way higher. I can't chase that. I still have my bid at 25, so if they want to dip this thing back against the lows, I'll buy that. And there's a bunch of little ones. Look at this little POWR. Oh, right back down against the bottom of its range. Manches, probably nice divergences coming in here. And hey, look at that. There's a cute little W that formed here. This little ant, you can see it carved down a nice little inside bar. So you can see this, we're below value. So we got to the point where they were like kind of throwing the baby out with the bathwater. To see a little bit of rally here. I mean, you can see the node right up in there that needs filling in, that notch. And really, you look at these kind of assets over long term. I just want to accumulate it. I can't really accumulate on something like this. It's gone a little too far too fast. But something like this, accumulate. I just want to keep accumulating. Looking for, eventually, of course, we're going to rally up, eat wicks and all that kind of stuff, top of value. I mean, gee whiz, just look at that. That's like, where are we here? 700 and change, whatever, and that's like 4,000. That's like, like, what is that? That's like 4x, 5x off of these levels. There's money to be made here. It's probably like next spring, next summer, maybe even 2 summers from now. But remember, I mean, I've been at this game for 30 years. Next spring, next summer, that's like next week as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so there's your market. It's not really super bull. It's not really super bear. It's a Friday options expiry. We should really expect the market to go out very quietly here today. And that's kind of what I'm seeing. We'll do another broiler chicken show on Sunday. So we'll answer, of course, Sunday. This is week 2 of the Level 1 education program. This is our strategic planning week. So big conversations about long-term cycles. So if you do want to have that kind of macroeconomic conversation, in fact, actually, we had a really good conversation. Brian, of course, went off on one of his nicotine rants. But we had a good conversation about bonds and interest rates and the path of interest rates going forward. Hint, 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 don't get sucked into the idea that interest rates will never go up again. That's a con. That's a sucker's play if I've ever heard of one. So, okay, everybody, have yourselves a great day. Wish me luck on the nicotine battlefront. All the best, and bye for now.